Which neighborhood is the most Italian in New York City? Little Italy, Arthur Avenue, Bensonhurst, or Howard Beach? New York City has the largest Italian American population in the United States. But which neighborhood is truly the most Italian? Little Italy in Manhattan has the name, but it's barely a neighborhood anymore. What was once a dense enclave of Southern Italian immigrants on Mulberry Street is now just a small stretch of restaurants that typically serve tourists. Many of the Italians left generations ago to move to places like Brooklyn, Queens, or Staten Island, and the suburbs. The name stayed, but a lot of the community didn't. However, there are still traces of this ancestry and many institutions left in the area. Arthur Avenue in the Bronx has a different story. When Italian immigrants came to build things like the Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Gardens at the turn of the century, they settled right next door in Belmont. By 1913, it was already being called one of the Italian colonies of the Bronx. The butchers, the bakeries, the indoor market on Arthur Avenue, some of these businesses have been in the same families for generations. This is oftentimes the neighborhood that New Yorkers go to when they say they want the real thing. Then there's Bensonhurst in Brooklyn, which at its peak in the 1980s was one of the most Italian neighborhoods in all of New York City, with a said 150,000 Italian Americans. The feast calendar still runs every summer, but the neighborhood has changed, just like many of them have. But a lot of the bones are still Italian. Just taking a walk through this neighborhood and you'll still see fig trees and old Cadillacs. Then there's Howard Beach in Queens. Almost nobody outside of New York City talks about Howard Beach in this context. But historically, nearly half of the neighborhood was of Italian descent, one of the highest concentrations of any neighborhood in the entire city. A lot of these families came from Brooklyn and Manhattan's Little Italy in the 1940s and 50s. They built their own churches, civic associations, and their own version of their Little Italy. So, Little Italy, Arthur Avenue, Bensonhurst, or Howard Beach? Which neighborhood is the most Italian in New York City? Let me know your answer in the comments below. And if you grew up in one of these neighborhoods, tell me the most Italian thing about it.